My hands get clean.
Good morning, everyone.
Good
Welcome to the
morning.
Pura Vida Project Hangout. We have an awesome hangout today. We're Kat and Romeo from Costa Rica.
How are you guys?
Running a couple minutes behind, a little bit early here. And welcome to the Hangout. You know, if you've been watching the Pura Vida Project Hangouts, we are a team, a community of online entrepreneurs. We are the leadership tribe. And really what we discuss every week is about what it is to be an online entrepreneur. What does that really mean? And we have different topics every week. You can tune in every Thursday at 9 a.m. Eastern. And today we have an incredible topic. It's thanks to one of our panelists, Jeffrey Antoine. And he talked about, you know, we are here to challenge the status quo. And we're going to talk today about initiative and leadership. So before we get into that, I just want to introduce the panel. We have an awesome panel today. We have a first-timer on our panel today, too, so that's awesome. So I'll just pass it over to Jeffrey. You know, just let us know where you're coming from and what you think of the topic.
Hello, good morning, everyone. I am Jeffrey from Toronto, and I am. How what do I think about the topic? I mean, I brought it up, so I gotta think. Well, you know what? It came from my love of Napoleon Hill's work, and I've been a follower of his for many years. It's actually got me to where I am today, following a lot of his stuff. And one of the biggest things that resonated with me is his view on initiative and leadership. And I mean, me not only being an entrepreneur, I'm also a husband and a father. And not going too deep into my story, I mean, I didn't grow up the way they did. I was more of the old school, school of hard knocks. You know, you mess up, you get one, right? And then you get the explanation of why you got that later. Now I'm the other way around with my kids, and you know, I have to be a leader in my kids' eyes. I can't fly out the handle. Actually, I just had my patience tested just before this hangout, and I had to put my skills as a leader to the test and not trip out on the child. I mean, you know, I mean, they're kids and they're still learning, they're still growing, and their minds are on a million other things other than what's important. So, as a parent and a leader, you have to acknowledge that not everyone is going to do what you say at first. They're not going to do what you do at first. You have to develop enough patience and strength in you so that you can deal with that, right? Because there will be times when things will not go your way. And as a leader, you have to show other people, say, hey, you know what? I got this. No matter what happens, no matter how bad it gets, I'll be okay, and I just keep moving, and I will get to where I need to go. So parenting is a whole different beast than being an entrepreneur, I'll tell you that. So it takes a lot of courage and a lot of leadership. I'm learning every day, and that's one area where you never stop learning is an area where you have people dependent on you. And it's I mean, being an entrepreneur on a team is kind of like that, but there's just some connection there with a living being that you brought into this world, that you know, it's your responsibility to be a leader. And I take that and I bring it to me being an entrepreneur, and it just 10x's the whole thing, because it's that much easier for me to lead and be a leader being someone who's already in that position. Yeah, if that makes sense. So without taking up too much time, I will pass the torch on to two other lovely entrepreneurs, Po and Jiyoung. And Jiyoung's story is crazy. When I met Jiyoung, we were in Florida at the last event, and we connected in the parking lot of Universal Studios. So hopefully, Jiyoung, you can touch on that story. It's a really funny one. And I will pass it on to whoever is next.
Whoever wants to
Hello,
come up.
everyone.
Hi, this is Poe from Perth, Australia. I'm really excited about some big wave. I'm really excited about the topic today because I was somebody that lived the status quo and now defying the status quo. So yeah, really excited to hear everybody's thoughts and to share as well. So yeah, over to you, Jiyoung.
Hi, my name is Jiyoung, and when I just saw this topic 15 minutes ago, I was so happy to hear this topic to discuss. My heart is pumping now, because this status quo thing is my from my like teenage time. This is like a whole my life actually. So like I've been living differently than usual Korean typical people. So I feel like I have so many things to share. Yeah, I feel like, yeah, I quit my high school when I was second year of high school. It was not my style. And like when I saw like internship opportunity on the street of Korea, like Daegu city, when I told my mom or my professors in the college, like by like usual my surrounding, they are conservative people, so they told me, like my parents told me, like, why don't you just finish your college now, then like you get a job and marry. That was their kind of my people around me, their reaction. That was my surrounding. But like I wanted to see different thing and try different, yeah, stuff. And yeah, so anyway, so I went to USA and I did what I like to do. And yeah, there are so many things that I can share. So I'm so excited about this topic.
So awesome. I love
That's
your
an awesome
energy,
story.
Jung. Yeah, we'll definitely dive into it more. I think the topic, Jeffrey, you touched on this. Like, this is really, what is leadership really? Leadership always starts with us, right? It's always being a leader to ourselves first. And that's how it can spread out, right, into other parts of our life where, we can inspire others to bring out that leader in them. But it always, it's always, like, at least for myself, the way I look at it is that it's all about the action I take. It's all about how I lead myself in my own life. Am I a leader to myself? And am I disciplined? Are my actions speaking louder than my words, right? Because you can say whatever you want to say, but really it's what you do daily that really defines who you are. And, it's funny because your habits truly make you, right? And when you can focus on these leadership qualities in yourself and actually push yourself to implement them in your own life on a daily basis, everything changes, right? And I know that for myself, I didn't used to be a leader in my own life. I lived very passively. I was in the passenger seat for most of my life, where, I wanted things to change, but I never really, I didn't take enough action in my own life to tell myself, to put my own foot down for what I was doing, right? For taking that responsibility, that accountability for myself. And, that really resonates out because if I say something, right, to someone, but I'm not doing it myself, and hoping for others to change or hoping for others to adapt, it means nothing, right? Because I have to still be the one to do that, and all I can hope to do is inspire, right? I mean, what you were saying, Jeffrey, I mean, we're not parents, right? We have kittens, which is in no way comparable, but
I don't think it compares. Maybe a little bit. Maybe like a teeny tiny fraction.
no, I don't even think it compares. But what you were saying, exactly what you said, that, all you can do is, when you tell someone to do something, they're not going to necessarily listen. And that's in any form, right? And as leaders within our team, within our tribe, within our business, we can say anything we want to say, but really all that matters is what we do.
Yeah, because actions speak louder than your words, right? Because they always do, right? I mean, I can say something right now, but if I don't do it, then it doesn't really make sense, right? But if I actually do something without actually saying it and just show the results, that speaks so much louder.
Yeah. And you know, it's also one of those things where a lot of people say this, and you know, these principles spread across our whole life, right? Across every avenue of our life, for, you know, from business to family to relationships to health, right? It spreads into everything. And you know, one thing too, which I really admire in you, Jeffrey, is that, you know, you said you were raised different, and you took on a different role. You kind of broke the pattern, and you took on a different role as a parent. So you took it upon yourself and realized that you are the leader, and people, you know, your children may not necessarily listen, but they will still see what you do. And that ultimately is what's going to inspire them to do the same. And, you know, thinking back, like, if, you know, if I looked at, you know, certain aspects of my life, like maybe my family life, things could be said to me, but if I saw something drastically different, then that's actually what I'm going to model, right? And I could look back and see that, right? And sometimes, you know, as a kid, it's not really fully conscious. You just model behavior, right? And if you're modeling behavior that is the behavior of, you know, that leadership kind of mentality, it really just becomes ingrained, right? And I can look back, and I know I had to change a lot of things for myself, and I had to become accountable, because, you know, I kind of grew up more with like a victim mentality, and I felt like things happened to me, and this was like a radical mindset shift, and one that I'm constantly working on, right? And I know each of your stories, even that aspect of feeling different, feeling kind of almost out of place in our surroundings, I think this entrepreneurial spirit, which I call it, is also that need and that kind of drive to want to be a leader, right? Where you can't also listen to someone, right? Like, this is one thing in jobs, right? Whenever I had a job, I was really good at it, but there was always a cap where I felt like I had already reached my potential within that job, and I was bored. And that made me also very unhappy, because I had no purpose in those jobs. I had many different jobs. I jumped around, right? And another thing too, I hated listening to people. I have like an anti-authority thing where, you know, if someone tells me to do something and it just really doesn't make sense in my life to want to put passion into something that I have no interest in whatsoever, you know, I'm not also accessing my own potential. And so I would feel bored, I would feel constricted, and I would just be like, what is the point here, right? And then when I became an entrepreneur, everything made sense. And I was like, you know, and another thing, as being an entrepreneur, you have to be the leader in your business, to yourself. You have to self-manage.
Yeah, you pretty much have to be responsible for every single part of it, right? Because it is yours, right? And I think the simplest definition in entrepreneurial terms of what leadership is being very responsible for your own success.
Yeah. So come on out here, guys. You know, we'll continue to have this discussion. I know each of you definitely have things to say.
I want to hear what Paul has to say.
Yeah.
What do I have to say? I have lots to say sometimes. I can relate to so many of these things. I mean, wow, where do I even start? I, like Jiang was talking about, I was not like a lot of Asian people. Maybe Romeo can relate as well. I always felt compelled that I needed to follow the status quo of what everybody else was doing, and I needed to, you know, be quite studious. I needed to do everything by the books. I needed to be almost perfect. A, you know, grade 8 student. School, the straight route. And it never resonated with me, probably to the point where I was always in my room wondering, is there something a lot better than this? Is there people that actually feel this strange, you know, this weirdness about how society actually operates? And wow, it was a very, very long process in breaking out of all of that, and to make the decision that okay, I don't mind being different and not like everybody else. And I went through many years doing what everyone else was doing, the 9 to 5 grind, 10 years in a boring office job, dealing with politics about petty things and having leaders there that would tear people apart if they would dare cross them. I mean, stupid things like that. I mean, how does that even really matter in life? But at the same time, I was surrounded by people that I knew they had dreams, but they didn't want to push the status quo. They wanted to stay in a comfortable position where they knew what was expected of them every day, and that was just fine for them. But it wasn't fine for me, because first day of work, I already felt the pinch, like, I can't be here for another 40 years doing all this nonsense. Like, how's this going to make my life better? How am I going to feel happy? How am I going to inspire people? Like, that doesn't gel. And, wow, what happened to me? I just made a decision that I need to go back to my childhood where I loved certain things like fashion and just to do it. And it happened when I was 27 years old, and I'm still on that journey. I decided 2012, I'm leaving the job now, and I don't know what's going to happen. It's been 2.5 years of a lot of challenges and personal growth and tears, like you saw last week. And here I am after persisting, not giving up, and just having this hunch that something was going to happen for me. Something is going to propel my dream forward. Lo and behold, like I said, Kat arrives on the scene. Didn't know what this woman was going to really offer, but I just had a gut feeling about her. And it took me 6 months to get my act together, but when I was ready to get my act together, I was pouncing. Come July, I was like, yep, I've had 2.5 years of a lot of nonsense. I'm not doing any more nonsense. I'm going to make this dream come true and create it, and to give it my 110% all, because I think if you've been almost like destroyed, and your absolute, what you thought of yourself all just crumbles, and then you're building yourself up again, laying that foundation. It's like, all right, if I'm doing this, if I'm laying the foundation, how do I want my foundation to look like? I want my foundation to be based on vision, dreams, and to also know that life is bloody short, guys. There's just no time for dilly-dallying anymore. Like, I was reading a post today from one of our friends, Felicia, about, her sister that passed away, and I thought it just totally hit home for me. We just don't know what's going to happen to any of us, and we have to make the most of it. We've got to do something now, and the decision comes from and following up by taking action. You got to do it, because the only way you're going to get results is by taking action. There's no other way around it. And yeah, I just hope the universe now says, okay, Pauline, you've done good. We gave you this treat in, the epic duo and the Pura Vida tribe. I'm now gonna keep sending rewards your way for all your hard work and diligence. And no, it's true, that it's been fantastic. So, just to end, all I have to say is true leadership, like what you guys were saying, it's a lot more than words. You can write a blog, you can sit here
talk on the Hangout about what you're going to do, what you stand for, but people always judge you at the end of the day by what results they see you delivering, and most importantly, how you made them felt as a result of those actions. So, yeah, that's oh gosh, that was a bit of a ramble. So, thanks guys. On to the next person.
That's amazing, Paul. It's crazy, and I don't know if you even realize this, because I know you're just forging ahead with massive action. Like, you've taken massive action, and what's crazy is that just within the time that you've gotten involved online, because I mean, you've had a crazy couple of years, like traveling and everything, right? And amazing experiences. And it's funny that you said that when you were at your job, you felt like how am I going to inspire people? And here you are now, only a few months online, and you've already inspired thousands of people. Thousands. You've reached thousands of people with your fan page. I mean, what your reach, I know, is growing, and you're at what, like probably like 12,000 reach now, and that's incredible. And this is only the beginning. You've done that in the span of a few months. Imagine how much that's going to grow in a year, in 2 years, in 5 years. And this is what we're talking about. I mean, this is what being a leader, it's like, this is what it allows you to do. It allows you to fully live in your passion and fully find that purpose for your life, where you can go out and the actions that you take can make waves. It can make waves in our community. It can make waves in the world, because what we do here,
it already has.
Yeah, and we'll just continue. And what we say is, we're here to make waves, and we're here to get people on that wave with us and surf that wave, right? And lead an incredible life because of that. Lead a life that is so fulfilled, so worthwhile, so satisfying, because of everything, because of the challenges we face, because they make us stronger, because they bring out that leader even more within us. And that kind of life is exactly what I always wanted, what I always waited for. And I think that's the message here with everyone, that feeling like we were all different, like there was something massively missing. And what was missing was this opportunity to grow into our full potential, to be so challenged and so inspired that we literally are limitless, because we're limitless as to what we can accomplish here. I mean, there is no limit here. There were always limits within jobs. There was always limits within being in that status quo, because everyone kind of settled for certain things, and we don't. We don't settle. That's the difference here. So I wanted to point that out, Paul, because what you've done already is incredible. Your results speak for themselves. I mean, you've reached thousands of people already, and this is the beginning. This is the crazy thing. This is like crazy town, okay? That is incredible. So I wanted to throw that in there before I pass it on to whoever wants to jump out next.
Well, I think I experienced that I was going to be, I knew I was going to be a leader when I was a child growing up. And I've always wanted to do things differently, and I've always done things differently, and I got in trouble for a lot of it growing up when I was in school and growing up as a kid. And fast forward, it's so funny, Paul, that you mentioned that you're also different than a lot of Asian people. I'm different than a lot of black people. Like, I always get caught in this stereotype that we all like to play basketball. I don't like to play basketball. I don't have the grace for the game. I like to hit things. So I played rugby in school. I'm practicing Taekwondo right now. I just do it differently, and I've always known that. I've always known that, and I've always pulled away from the status quo. But I've always got sucked back in because of fear fear that I would be rejected, fear that I wouldn't be, loved by my friends and family. Oh, well, he's off doing his own thing. Okay, well, leave him be. I'm not going to support that. It's that fear that we have to get past. And one of the things that I've learned is that you have to get past that fear. You have to be able to, okay, stand and say, all right, this is what I want. This is my vision. I can't do what everybody else is doing. There's something within me telling me that what I'm doing is not wrong, but it's not putting me in that comfortable place where I belong, what I'm here for. I wasn't here to feel this way. I mean, I've gone to jobs where I've stopped and it's like, what am I doing? Like, am I doing this for me, or am I doing this for just the paycheck? And a lot of the times we are doing stuff just for the paycheck, just to keep this this own little personal status quo that we've created for ourselves by, keeping up with the Joneses. I mean, it's we follow the message that's going on out there, and we get sucked and trapped into this little bubble. Now, without sounding too preachy, but it's true. I felt it within me for the longest time, and it didn't work for me. And one of the things that I've brought into being a parent, and it was a tough pill to swallow, is that, especially with children, you cannot tell people what to do. The moment you do that, a person's going to do the complete opposite, because they're not seeing you do it. They'll only do it when you're doing it, and they'll see a result from that. I tell my kids that, and many of you parents out there may argue, but I tell my kids, I said, look, I can't tell you what to do. I'm not going to get in your way. I'm only here to guide you. And if I see you steering on a path that is going in a direction that I know isn't good for you, I'll let you know. I'll explain it to you on why I don't want you to go that path, and then I will leave the choice to you. So you can't tell me that I didn't warn you, but the only thing I can do is guide. And as leaders, the only thing that we could do is be the guide, and not see. We all know what leaders, we also the leaders of the past that went by, do as I say sort of leadership. We all know what happened there, and it's still going on in the world. So even if it's just our small little group, by changing the status quo, it does create a ripple, and other tribes, other groups. I mean, who knows? I mean, there are probably people in our industry, no, probably people outside of our industry, who are watching this hangout saying, oh yeah, like, it does make sense that, it starts off small. I mean, this message could probably change a lot that's going on in the world. I mean, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the butterfly effect. The butterfly flaps its wings in New York City and a hurricane happens somewhere else. But it's like that, it's just, there's something within this message, something within the message that we'll have in the future, messages we had in the past that will change something within somebody. So the only thing we can do is lead by example. And I am coming to the end of my stream of consciousness, so it's it comes in spurts for me, and then when you guys are talking, it's just like, I want to cut in, but I don't want to interrupt, so I kind of write it on the side. This is why you guys got to be on the hangout, because we got a good conversation going on the side as well. So you got to be part of this, because it's really exciting. All right, so who's like, Jiang, I would love to hear from you.
Okay. So I really admire you, and you inspire me a lot from your massive action, So I really resonate with taking an action and be an example, right? So my story, I feel like I was always like against the status quo, not because I knew about it, but because there was one idol that I really liked when I was in middle school time. And he was a musician who brought rap music to Korea society for the first time and made a big hit. And his message of his music was like really giving the message to Korean society about the education system, you know, not saying education system sucks or something, but he made a music with a hip hop style and, you know, performance, and people really resonate with him, right? So I was influenced by him a lot. So one day went to his like concert, and I read all his biography and all these things. And one day I saw that he quit his when he was in high school, and because his passion was music and playing guitar, so he quit when he was in high school, and that was shocking because in Korea I never thought that kind of thing exists, or quitting school is possible, or that's the choice, or there's option, you know. I never knew that existed. So when I saw that my idol did that, so I had a different, that kind of thing is out there and someone do it, right? So that like influenced me. And yeah, so yeah, like when I was young, like my parents wasn't like very financially like abundant, so I didn't go to kindergarten. So I didn't get like early childhood programming, you know. So I was always a little bit different, and like all my friends in the playground, or they would go to kindergarten or piano school or academy, you know, extra curriculum academy or something. I was left alone in the playground or hanging out in the nature or something. Yeah, so I was a little bit different than all other kids, you know. So even when I went to elementary school, like usually girls would go to bathroom together, you know. They wouldn't go to bathroom alone even, you know. And like going to like movie theater by yourself is kind of strange, you know. But I go to like a movie theater by myself, you know, that kind of style. So I was a little bit different. So anyway, so long story short, like when I was in the high school, it was like a hell to me because I'm not good at getting up early in the morning and then like come back home like late at night. But in Korea, when you are in the there's two kinds of high school in Korea. One is for the kids who doesn't have a high score, so they go to vocational high school, and the other kids, they go to high school and their goal is going to the good university, right? So in Korea, we have a 3-year high school system. So usually the final year of the high school time is the like hell, you know, because all the high school students, they study so much and they are so much stressed out, and they finish school like at 9 p.m., you know, that kind of, you know, thing in Korea. And then they go to also extracurriculum, like academy, even after that, you know, for the better education and all that. And then they compete each other, and so much competition, they stressed out, and many people suicide, you know. That's kind of Korean style of education system. So anyway, so like I didn't like, you know, going like so early in the morning and finishing school and like looking at the star and moon and coming home. And like the mathematics was not my thing, and you know, I was always interested in reading books and watching movies and stuff. So anyway, I felt like this is not for me. So I quit when I was second year, and then I did a high school examination, you know, qualification exam, and I passed the thing. And then anyway, and then like my mom begged me to even test the university school, like we have a university entrance exam to go to university. I wasn't like prepared or ready for going to university, but my mom told me just for what is it? Just for practice, go take the test. So I took that university entrance exam, and then I ended up just enrolling to tourism English major, a 2-year college. So anyway, so after I finished the college, I told you like I saw the poster, right? So the poster was saying internship in USA, you know. So that seems really interesting and cool, right? Because usually I'm not from like a rich family, so I don't have the usually chance to go abroad, study abroad, or you know, that kind of chance, right? So when I saw the internship opportunity, I called them up and I said, can I also apply and can I go? And they said, sure. So you know, I was supposed to go to Nevada State, like because my major was tourism English, so I was supposed to go to like a hotel like management or something, that kind of internship. But actually, that internship company in Daegu City in Korea, they told me that they had a better internship opportunity. It was a fast food management internship in Wisconsin. And they said this is better pay and better something. So I said, okay. So I ended up going to USA and working at McDonald's. And I thought that was all this that internship was like for the fresh graduates from university students or college. So there was a visa for cultural exchange visa, like a J1 visa. So all these people who went to internship, they thought they are like a management kind of like internship, like it sounded cool, right? They didn't expect that it would be like a working at McDonald's, right? But it was like they hired us for cheap labor kind of thing. But like us, like we usually never thought like that was like that incident that we would be ended up, right? So we one time after 6 months later we complained to the visa sponsor council, like, what is this? This is just working as a worker, you know. So they gave us a permission to change the internship. So I could change, and I ended up working as a waitress for the first time in my life, and working at a movie theater part-time job, and also a ski lift operator in Wisconsin in the wintertime. So that was my 1 year of living in USA experience. So that was like, I saw different lifestyle, and I saw the kids who's working at the McDonald's or the movie theater, they were so independent. But in Korea, usually like people around me, or I'm not even from a rich family, but usually I feel like I didn't really work at a McDonald's kind of situation. You know, usually in Korea, like the parents are paying for the kids' college, also usually in tuition. Many people, I feel, you know, that's my feeling. But nowadays, I don't know. Nowadays, some kids are getting the loan like a USA, right? Like getting the high student loan and becoming slave, right, for the system. But anyway. So usually, like, we don't really have that much independent financial background, I think. But like I saw like all these kids, they are working at McDonald's and they buy their own used car or car, and you know, they are also they are independent when they are 18 or something, right? In USA, but in USA or Canada, but in Korea, like, in Korea, it's normal to live with their parents until they get married. And even like many Korean parents, they pay for the marriage wedding ceremony too. Many parents too, still, you know. There's some independent people, but also there's many major people, they pay for their even kids' college and education, and even marriage, and even they buy them housing and all that stuff. So that's kind of Korean style. But anyway, so I feel like this is kind of Korean society, you know, and everybody's having this kind of thinking, like, we go to we get good grades, we study so hard, and we get a good job, and we marry, and we have a stable job. That's like a usually Korean like a style of thinking. Yeah, but like I didn't have that kind of thinking, right? So I was always living differently, but anyway, I ended up marrying my husband, who had a stable job, and it was like my security kind of. So even though my life was quite different, and I travel around or go to detox place or something, but I wasn't responsible for my life, you know. And my husband, like I also run a community center called Mind, Body, Soul, and Wellbeing Studio, like sharing great things, because I want to influence Korean people from the usual typical thinking, you know, because there are so many things out there. There's so many great things out there they don't know from their own like Korean society, you know, the media and all this society, and the education and the parents and all this thing they get from, right? So that was my passion to share this. But actually my life, actually behind the scene, I felt like I wasn't responsible for my own passion, because you know, I had like all these limiting beliefs about money, because I couldn't ask for money to my parents. So I had a hard time people asking for money. So even though I was running the center and letting people use the space for their good cause, anti-Monsanto documentary screening or North Korea refugee, like college students, like English teaching, like volunteering thing. But I didn't get paid when I gave the space and connect people and send a newsletter and all these things. And always there was a behind the rent. And I was in pain and stressed, and my husband was paying the rent behind. And so that was kind of my life recently until like a year ago. And one day, I had one incident, and that time I realized I have to be responsible for my life and my passion if I want the kind of life that I want, like freedom and living my passion. And then I cannot like live like this anymore. So anyway, so that was one more moment that I fully decided to take control of my life and be responsible and really like showing the result, right? If I want to share this kind of amazing epic life, right? I cannot live an epic life without someone else's expense, right? So like now I'm in the stage that I finally like put my control and responsibility hat, and taking action. And you guys are my inspiration, and I really thank you, Paul and Kat and Amy and Jeffrey. And anyway, so that's a little bit. I don't know if I talk so only my thing. So anyway, this is my story.
Wow, thanks. That's an incredible story. I didn't know your story. That's an incredible journey. And even like hearing your story, it just makes me think so much about how we're all so different. We all have these different experiences growing up, because we're from all over the world here, right? I mean, it's crazy the cultural differences, but yet we still all felt that kind of, like the way Cole describes it, that pinch, that we wanted something different, right? And we saw something around us that it's kind of like we couldn't buy into that, and we wanted something different, we wanted something more. And it's incredible to hear that. And I just, another thing too, I think is really amazing, Jung, is that you had the experience of seeing a vastly different culture coming into the US, and it was so different, and it also shifted your worldview so much. I have that experience as well, and as a kid, like I was born in Poland, and I lived in Germany for a while, and then we moved to Canada. I was still a kid, but I would still travel a lot back and forth between Canada and Poland, and I would see a huge cultural difference there too. And I'm also not a traditional Polish girl. I'm always different. My mom wanted me to kind of be a certain way, and I didn't, and I would always kind of rebel against that. And I know Romeo too. I mean, share your story. Like your experience was crazy.
Yeah, it's actually, you know what, Jung? Actually, you guys don't know this, but I actually ran a family business for about 10 years, a Korean family business, right? So I can totally relate what you're saying, Jung, because I know Korea, that Korean culture, I know is very strict, right? So I know how you must have felt, with that hardship, breaking away from it and kind of being in it, right? Because, I mean, I'm Filipino and they're pretty strict, and Korean people, I know they're strict as well, right? And me coming from, and I mean, I came here to Canada. Well, not in Canada. Well, I came to Canada, when I was 13, right? And I saw a huge change, right? And what I saw then when I moved was opportunity, for me to better myself, to be pretty much a leader to myself and be responsible for myself from then on. And I was about 13, right? And you can probably imagine a little kid, just doing whatever, doing crazy stuff. And then I kind of found my way through, and then I met this girl, and she changed my life, and here we are.
You changed my life. I mean, yeah, it's crazy, like how much travel and how much experiencing different cultures can drastically help to expand your own perspective, because it's really about shifting perspectives and seeing, sometimes if we are in a certain environment, it's hard to see also within what's kind of happening there, right? It's hard to realize that there's more. It's hard to realize sometimes that there is more opportunity around us because we are raised in a certain way, in a certain culture, even in a certain, our family has certain traditions. Like, all of that, it's hard to see to even consider breaking out of that. And then on a larger scale within society, within what we're expected to do, right? Going to school, going to college or university, going to a job, and then staying at that job for like 40 years, right? I was always confused about that, right? Like I went, and even in high school, I kind of rebelled a lot, and I didn't want to choose a path. I remember that. Like, I loved history, but I still didn't know what to choose because I wanted so many things. I wanted different experiences. I wanted to travel the world. I wanted to, I wanted to be a psychologist. I wanted to be a writer. I wanted to be a poet. I wanted to be a scientist. I wanted to be a farmer, wanderer.
This stuff that she's telling you guys right now, this is exactly what she told me the first day we met.
The first day we met, I told him all this. We sat on the bus and we were talking about our dreams.
She even told me where she was going to get buried.
So creepy, right? I
was like, oh, that's
I had all these like dreams, right? And he wanted to be like a traveling rock star, right? All this stuff, and it's like, this is not accepted. This is not normally accepted in society. You're expected to get a job and to just settle down, to have a family, right?
Especially in the cultures that we're in right now. It's totally, it takes a leader to break out of it.
It takes you taking that, making that decision to be a leader in your life, which is what we're talking about.
And you guys already are.
Yeah,
I can tell you that.
The story across the board here is everyone broke out of the mold, right? And it's a scary thing to do, right? And we're not saying here that, I mean, if you have a job that you love, that is fantastic. It's just the message we're saying here is we never found that. We never found that job that we loved. We actually went down the path of becoming entrepreneurs because it gave us that freedom to really do what we want, and even to discover what that means. Like, for the longest time, I couldn't answer the question, what do I want, because I felt so constricted in the possibilities. I didn't even want to consider that there was something, I didn't consider the fact that I could actually make money from my passion. Because on the most part, society tells you that if you do follow your passion, you're going to be broke. That you are going to be that starving artist, that starving creative person where you just won't get paid. You can be happy doing your passion, but you know what? There's a different path, because you can make money and follow your passion.
Because the thing is, we only have this limited energy within us every single day, right? So if you're draining yourself, working 9 to 5, and then you kind of come home and you're like, okay, well, it's time for me to do what I want. You won't have that time, right? So, I mean, I'm not telling you guys to quit your jobs or anything, right? It's more like, it's finding what makes you happy, right?
That's the key here.
Yeah.
To discover
what makes you excited, basically.
That's the question. What does excite you? And we always talk about this. It does take work.
Oh, yeah.
It takes commitment. It takes persistence. It takes work. It takes effort to build a business, because that's what we're doing here. We're all building online businesses based around our passion, and we actually get to work with entrepreneurs and learn the skill sets of online marketing to be able to do whatever we want. Because this is a skill set that will pay you for life.
Yeah, and internet marketing, guys, you can literally, I don't even have words. It's like you can live forever, well, not live forever, but you can pretty much do whatever you want for the rest of your lives with the skill set, guys. With the skill set of internet marketing, because you can literally take anything and market it. You can literally take, I don't know, like let's say a cup holder or something like that, right? And you can, if you know how to sell this and you can get it in front of the people that want it,
the right people,
the right people that want it, boom. That's like.
Which means that whatever your passion is, right? Let's say you're passionate about, maybe you're an artist, right, or a painter, and you have your work, and you're thinking, well, how am I going to make money with this, right? Or you're a photographer, and you have these amazing photographs, right? Well, what do you do with that? How do you actually follow your passion? Well, if you learn how to because see, the thing is, this is a story from Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Probably a lot of people have read that book. And he tells a story about how he was talking to a journalist, and she was asking him for tips on how she could get her work out to the public more. And he said, you have to learn how to sell. And see, the word selling kind of is off-putting to a lot of people. But what does selling really mean? It means building a relationship and a bridge between you or your product and the right audience that already wants that product. You're not selling to someone that doesn't want it.
You're not
right?
like pitching and stuff like that, right?
That's not what selling is.
It's like people look at us and they're like, how did you do that? How did you,
like,
sell
what
her?
is it you even do?
Yeah, no. It's like, no. When they see us together, like, she's so beautiful, right? And they're like, how did you sell yourself to her? Like, how did that happen, right?
Well, I think you're very handsome.
Well, no. No, my point is, selling is more like developing that relationship, like she was saying, right?
And what it allows you to do, so the story with Robert Kiyosaki, he's like, you have to, like, what I suggest to you is to go out and take a marketing course. And she's like, marketing? I don't want to learn how to sell. And he's like, what does it say when a book reaches, like, a top seller list? It says best selling author. It doesn't say best written work or best writing author. It says best selling, because you can have the greatest piece of artwork or the greatest piece of written content or the greatest message, but if that message doesn't reach people, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't have that meaning. You can't access those people unless you know how.
Yeah, I mean, you can have like the best burger in town, the best burgers in town, but if you put your burger joint somewhere in the desert, it's pointless, right? Who's gonna eat it? You're probably gonna eat it every day because you have no customers coming in, right? So really, guys, marketing, internet marketing, that skill set. I mean, this is obviously this is an example. This is an offline example. But my point is, if you can get people to your burger joint, it's gold.
And think of the potential online.
Yeah.
You have an online global marketplace, and there are people that are looking for whatever it is you have, or if you don't have that business yet, you definitely have a passion. And maybe it's time to access that passion within you and ask yourself, what does excite me? Because I can actually go down this path. Maybe you're working a job and you just don't feel that wants to go to work. There's a reason, and you know what? We made a decision, and everyone's story here says everyone came to a point where they made a crucial decision in their life, and they decided that they were going to go for it no matter what, no matter all the expectations around them, no matter the cultural or family expectations around them. And it is a scary step, but that's why we also work together as a community and support each other, because we all understand the challenges of breaking out of the status quo.
Yeah, the funny thing is, and it's actually very interesting too. Once you break out of the status quo, it's almost like you start developing these new passions, right? It's like the passions that you've held for so long in your head, thinking, well, I'm going to be this, going to be that, right? When you actually break away, you'll develop new ones, right? Like I started getting into photography just about 3 years ago, right? And I have a lot of pictures there. I mean, when I started, obviously they were kind of crap, right? But now it's like I'm getting into like time-lapse videos and stuff, and like I'm not being full myself here, but they actually fascinate me.
They're
right?
awesome.
And the reason why is because I made that decision, right? I mean, whatever your passions are, you might be into photography, you might be into surfing, anything that makes you happy. It's time to like really step it up and do those. There's no reason why you shouldn't.
And it's an exciting thing to do. It's an exciting journey to go on. And we've all kind of touched on a little bit about school, right? We're not knocking school here.
Oh, no,
it's just there's a certain mentality. There's certain things that are not taught in school. You're not taught to think for yourself. You're taught to, I remember, I was in university for a few years. I took history. And I remember that I would have, certain professors where I knew that I had to write according to what they wanted to read, not what I wanted to write. And you're operating under certain restrictions, right? And it's kind of scary to break out of that. But what we're saying here is, as entrepreneurs, the mindset shift is that I am willing to learn for the rest of my life. And I know that I can get new skills because that's what I've done in the past 3 years. I have skills that I never understood. Like, it reminds me of Napoleon Dynamite skills. Tangent, sorry. Also have ADD. But I have skills now that I never even expected I would get into. And the funny thing is, if I wasn't willing to try new things and to go down a new path, I would have never discovered a passion for something I didn't even know existed. And you can do this at any point in your life. See, People go to school, they get a certain skill, they come out of school and they think they're done. That's not how we operate. Life becomes fascinating and exciting when you can follow your passion and constantly try new things. I mean, how is it possible that, you know, Romeo and I are in Costa Rica? Because we were willing to step out and take a risk and say, let's go to a new country and try living in a different country we've never been to. That's why we get to live on the beach.
I mean,
but if you're not willing to, if you're not willing to even try something new, to learn something new, to change, you'll never have those new experiences. You'll never be able to go after your dreams. You have to step out.
You know, because you gotta have fun, guys, right? You gotta have a ton of fun, right? I mean, just a few weeks ago, you know, Ken and I went to Panama, which is like just right over there. I think it's about 3 hours away. Yeah, and we went there to buy hot sauce, and then we came back the same day. And ketchup.
And cake.
Yeah, and cake. Yeah. Well, okay, cake too. We bought 3 cakes actually.
Yeah, we bought a lot of cake.
Yeah. And so we came back and we were like, okay, that's cool, right? And that's normal for us now, right? But when we started, you know, we literally didn't see that, right? All we saw was like literally just working jobs, right? But then we decided, you know what? Like I said, guys, it literally takes a decision to do it, right? To go for it, to go for your passion, right? And then from there, it keeps going up. You know, you just keep having new experiences every single day.
Yeah, and that is what our message and our vision here is as the Pura Vida project. You know, we are the leadership tribe. And what does that mean? It means being a leader in your own life, stepping out of the mold, and going for what you want, going for your passion. And we're here to say that you can do that, that we're going to support you in that we're going to uplift you in that, whereas maybe around you for a while people won't, because it's scary to step out. It's, you know, it scares people. It feels scary too, but it scares other people because you're breaking out of the norm, and it's something that's unexpected, right? People expect certain things, and we definitely had that, but we found these people all over the world because we sought out people that wanted the same things as us. And even though, as you heard with everyone's story, we all have such different backgrounds, such different experiences, and yet we connect so much. And why is that? Because we're all living that passion-filled life.
And we're all crazy.
And we're all crazy and weird in ourselves, right? I mean, we don't have to be exactly alike to love to work together. Why is it that we all love to work together? Because we inspire that passion in each other, and we support each other in each other's love, in each other's passion for whatever it is that you want to do, right? Sometimes it's hard to find people around you in your daily life that do that, right? So, you know, this hangout is, you know, it's going really awesome. I just want to go around the panel and just for you guys to have, you know, one last like closing line about, for the people that are watching, you know, what is your recommendation to them?
My recommendation, I just want to quickly go back to Jiyoung's point in the video, and everybody go back to her section. I mean, go back to the whole thing, but really focus on her section and tell me what you notice. What I noticed from her is she broke free from the status quo, and if you just look at the way she is, just listen to her voice, this is the way she's speaking, she's excited. She's very excited about doing that. She's very excited about finally breaking free and going towards what she's passionate about, what excites her in life. Because really, guys, there's like one thing in life is what we're excited about. And could you imagine, you know, one thing is being passionate and excited about what you do, whatever it is you do. Could you imagine of taking this wonderful tool that we have, social media, the internet, blogging, YouTube, and learning how to use that in a way where you can not only share your passion, but also communicate that hidden message. I felt Jiyeon's excitement, expressing that message in a way that reaches people and teaches them how to do the same. And what we do here is we do that. We share our passion, but we also lead by teaching others how to use social media in a way where they can share and even profit from sharing that passion. So that's what we do here. We're not here to tell you to break away from the mold. I mean, if you're passionate about what you're doing already, so be it. That's great. We're not telling you to break away from the mold. We're not telling you to quit school. We're not getting you to drink some funky Kool-Aid. But we're just getting you to understand that life is short, and there are things in life that you are passionate about, things that really excite you so much that you cannot hardly wait to share it with others. And that's what we do here. So for those of you watching this video, under whoever the panelists you're following on your social media link, click on the link and just follow us on in our email newsletter or whatever. Follow us, and we'll share with you how you can cash in on your passion, because there is a way. It was designed and developed for some really cool people, and it's amazing. I never thought social media could be used like this. I usually just plug on my Facebook, haha, poke, comment, like this and that. But after a while, I was like, I can cash in on this stuff. All right, now I'm going to share what really excites me. I'm not going to share what they've put up. I'm going to share me. Now it's time for me to cash in on that. So yeah, so those of you watching, and yeah, go after what excites you, man. Like, life's short. You don't want to be sitting there on your rocking chair at 80 thinking, you know what, man, I really should have chased that dream I had. Now I'm stuck, living off the little minimal retirement that the status quo is giving me. Thank you for your service. But it's go after what you really passionate about, guys. And live, follow Jiang's excitement, and find whatever excites you and live that every day. Live with passion, guys.
Wow, beautifully said, Jeffrey.
I should really freak people out and really just look at you, Po. Hey, I always wanted to do that. Po, Jiang, hi. Yeah, I always want to trip people out with that.
I love that.
Every panel I see, I've always wanted to do that. Like the Brady Bunch.
There's not much more I can say from that. Jeffrey summarized it beautifully. And guys, wake up every day, and Kat's spoken about this before, having a perfect day. Just imagine that. Imagine waking up without an alarm every day and knowing you can choose exactly how that day is going to look. It can be anything you like, from walking the trails along Costa Rica. It could be traveling to Paris and having a romantic meal with your husband. It could be spending quality time with your family where you are right now. Just think about your perfect day and just know it is within reach, and it is a decision away, and you can do it. You can absolutely do it. So those are my thoughts. Over to you, Jiang.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was also afraid to really take an action, actually, with my husband. It wasn't, true love, true passion, that kind of marriage. I really liked him. He was soulmate, but we had a different interest and a different value. So we were not really truly passionate in love, So it took me a few years and a lot of courage, At that moment that I decided to walk away, it was the bottom of the bottom moment that I really had to do it, right? And I knew so many people out there. I see so many my online marketing friends living their passion and, and making money online and making a difference. So I knew it's possible. So it was only the thing, is it possible for me? That was the moment, the thing that I really, I knew that. So I just decided that moment. So I understand, if you are comfortable, I was comfortable, with my marriage. Yeah, but but I couldn't get up in the morning. I was living in Beijing, as an expat housewife. And Beijing has a pollution, I love nature. I love, beautiful nature and fresh air and all these things, but it was like torturing for me and away from my mind, body, soul community center that I love to share things. So anyway, but I couldn't get up in the morning, I couldn't get up, so I had to go to hospital to check my body if something is wrong with me, But when I walk away from that, and even I moved back to Korea now, and I live in a small room right now, I'm going towards that, that amazing, life. I know I can do it, for sure. So, but I'm so happy, and you can see from me, right? I'm so happy and I'm so grateful, So yeah, like, for example, like for me, I feel so, I wanna share this with many Korean, as many as possible, because Korea is so programmed world, they never question authority. And we had an incident, like there was a student going to the trip to one island by the ferry, and then the ferry was sinking, and sinking time was 3 hours, but like all the kids, they died. That they had a lot of time and helicopters and all these things, but they messaged their parents, what should I do? And the authority or the microphone said, stay there. Stay there. They said that, and then the sailor and the staff, they were the first one to escape from the ferry, and many of those kids died in that kind of incident. And I feel like there are so many corruption and not fair, something in our things, our society. And anyway, so it's like a long story. Some people know what I'm talking about, right? So you don't, yeah, so question something, it's like I feel like people have to think, not just taking everything around you and the media and the school system telling you, even your parents, they are telling you something out of love, but they also got their own way of, that thinking from other things. So like think for yourself and live your passion. And yeah, I feel like, yeah, the life, I feel like I believe personally, like it's the abundant universe, that the thing that you think maybe is lack of something, and we have to compete each other for resources or something, it's not true, it's not true actually. So there are many conspiracy and something, So anyway, yeah, I feel like the life, I feel like, why not living passionate and happy life, I feel like it's so much fun, so much meaningful to help each other, share something amazing, not competing each other, and stressed out. And yeah, like there are so many Korean married couple. I don't have many Korean friends, but I heard so many married couple, they have their own boyfriend, girlfriend out of their own marriage. So many people I know, I heard that, more than maybe half of the marriage, I don't know, or even more than that. And yeah, and like so much people like drinking alcohol in Korea, because they are so much under pressure, right? So they have to get out of that pressure by drinking, that's Korean culture, right? I feel we are famous for drinking, soju. Anyway, and then like infidelity or adultery, it's quite a normal thing, but people don't talk about it, but everybody knows it, So yeah, I feel, and also like I feel like I have a problem with the Korean people. Like we have the highest plastic surgery rate per capita in the world, and like Korea is a leading country in Asia or even in the world, and for the fashion and cosmetics and medical tourism and all these things. It's all because people don't love themselves and they compare each other. Like I have to be thinner, I have to get better education score, and I have to look beautiful to get a better job than you, and all those things. But like, so anyway, this online marketing skill set, you don't have to be an online marketer. I speak English well, right? I don't have to be an English teacher because I speak English. It's just life skill set that I can learn something more than on Korean language, right? So I have a more expansion of understanding, perspective, and knowledge and wisdom that I can get, right? So this online marketing skill set, like we are living in an information age, right? So is it okay if I can, yeah, like 1 minute? Yeah. So we are living in an information age, right? So this skill set is not only for online marketer. You know, this is you are using Google. You know, you are reading blog, and you have maybe have a blog or a website. You have your own business website, and you are going to Facebook. You are watching video from YouTube, right? Then there's some like skill sets that you learn, and you can utilize it to share your sell your product or sell your service or share your codes and share your message, right? And there are so many people, the other side, like 3%, they are making money using this kind of online and system and skill set and knowledge. So 97% of people maybe they are just spending time on those online, you know. So there's all these things possible, and we have all this information and education and knowledge, and we are sharing this. You know, it is so like go back to the people that brought you to this hangout. You know, yeah, we have a big community, and we like a one click away from the knowledge you want to get access. You know, you can learn like Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook, you know, thing and PPC marketing. There are so many knowledge, and you can choose, you know, and you can get that skill set and live your passion, and you don't have to settle for the thing that you're not passionate about, you don't love, you know, the job or your marriage or anything. So live happily and freely and enjoy your life. You know, that's my message.
Oh, it's
Okay.
beautiful.
Beautiful.
I love your passion. Summarize it perfectly. You know, so for those of you watching, I mean, you guys can see that we're just being ourselves here. We're just sharing our stories, and we're able to, like as was said on the panel, we're able to leverage the internet, right? And you know what I'm gonna say is, results may vary because it takes work, and it takes that leader within you to come out. So you know, because the thing is, like, the people we are looking for to work with are people that want this. The people that, you know, if you're sitting there and you're kind of starting to feel a little bit of that pinch, maybe butterflies in your stomach, maybe you're thinking, maybe there's a part of you that's starting to think, maybe I can do this. Maybe that passion within me that might not be this huge fire yet, maybe that small spark even, you know, because I only had a small spark when we started that's grown into this bonfire of passion for what I do. Maybe it's starting to kind of illuminate itself to you, and maybe you're starting to think, maybe I can do what, you know, these people are doing, right? And what we're here to say is we're looking for people that are just hungry for their dreams, that are just kind of sick and tired of listening to people or trying to fit into a mold that you just can't seem to fit into. It's just you can't fit in all of the things that you want, and you want more. And there's nothing wrong with wanting more. You know, our tagline is live an epic life. And what does that mean? It means go for what you want. Go for how you define living an epic life.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter what it is. You know, it can be like living here in Costa Rica. It can be, you know, living anywhere you want, just doing anything, whatever it is that you want to do. So
yeah, I mean, as was said, you know, get back with the person that invited you to this hangout. You know, ask them questions. We're just regular people living our life, right? We're here to reach out. We're here to talk to you. If you have questions, we're here. You know, get access to the information. And if you're at the point where you're just like, you know, screw this, I want to go for this, then you can check out what's available with our team by clicking the link below, right? So we're here. Thank you for tuning into this hangout. This is an awesome hangout. Join us next week at 9 a.m. Eastern Thursday. We had a recent time change. I think I got it right. And
I don't know what you're talking about.
Plug in with us, you know, be part of the leadership tribe. So thank you guys. Live an epic life. Pura Vida.
Pura Vida, guys.